June 28th, 2024. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:30. In the likely event of emergency, you need to note the exit clearly marked. Take a moment to note the exit near to where you're seated. No smoking is allowed on school grounds. As a courtesy, please turn off your cell phones during the meeting, and please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Judy, I apologize for the inconvenience, but we're going to have to go into executive session for advice from counsel on a major issue. So at this point in time, it is now 5:31. Can I have a motion to go into executive session? Leslie Kretz is first, Jeanette Santos is second. All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Minutes the most. Thank you. Point in time. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add the following items? Okay. Agenda item 2C4, which is a resolution regarding a vacancy appointment in regards to, and I'll read it, whereas effective June 22nd, 2024, the seat of board member Wendy Canestro seat became vacant as the oath of office was not filed with the office of the district clerk by that date. Whereas the education law section 1709 authorized the Board of Education to fill such vacancy by appointment. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby appoints Wendy Canestro to the aforesaid vacant seat and authorize the oath of office to be administered to said individual effective immediately. And said board member shall serve until the next regular school district election on May 20th. That's 2C4. 2C5 is a resolution vacancy appointment number 2, whereas effective April 19th, the seat of board member David Heller became vacant due to his resignation from the Board of Education. And whereas the Board of Education law section 1709 authorizes the Board of Education to fill such vacancy by appointment. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby appoints blank, no decision has been made, to the aforesaid vacant seat and authorize the oath of office to be administered to the said individual effective immediately, and said board member shall serve into the next regular school district election on May 20th, 2025. And 2C6 is resolution vacancy appointment number 3. Be resolved, the Board of Education hereby appoints Melissa Durnan to serve as district clerk for the balance of the 22-23 school year. 23-24 school year, and authorizes the oath of office to be administered to said individual effective immediately. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add these 3 resolutions?
So moved.
Jeanette Santos is first. Can I have a second? Leslie Kretz is second. All in favor of amending the agenda to add these items?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Right. Can I have a motion for motion carries 5-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C4, please? Have a motion for agenda item 2C4. All right.
Second.
Leslie Kretz is first. Carol Seehoff is second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Right. I'm going to pause right now, so therefore you can swear in again. And
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and I will support the Constitution and the Constitution of the State of New York. That I will be
no, it's not. No,
Really come again.
right, at this point in time, I'm going to continue down. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C1, please?
So moved. Is this on? Oh, yeah, move. So moved.
Wendy Canestros first.
Second.
Carol Seal for second. Any questions regarding this particular item?
I think it's a point of interest to the public to let them know that it's a revenue source.
Dr. Talbot?
Thank you. So the resolution on the agenda for tonight is to grant the construction company permission to have access to the grounds of our property, in particular the high school. So as they conduct the work, which will begin March 2025 and is scheduled through June 2026, the board has to grant permission to execute this property release form. There will be a resolution forthcoming to approve the revenue source of the $43,000 that will be granted to the district as a result of this land being taken by eminent domain to complete the work necessary. May I ask Ms. Buatsi just to give a very brief summation of the work that is to be completed, the culvert project?
The culvert project will involve raising the road towards Merrick Road to the west. And it will involve taking a piece of property, about 1,000 square feet of our district property. And they have to enter district property in order to do the grading, especially on the west entrance to the high school. That piece is the release form. What Trustee Canistro is talking about is another piece. That's the piece of property that I just described, about 1,000 square feet that they are going to take from through eminent domain. And this is the compensation we are going to receive, $43,000. So this has nothing to do with the release form. The release form is just to allow them to get onto the property to do the work.
So when do we get the revenue then? Like, I'm getting
It will be
confused.
coming. It will be forthcoming. That's
Okay,
what
so once they do it, then is there a time frame for that?
No, there's no time frame for that at this point in time, yes, but
Do-
it's
do you-
very
Do you
soon.
think within the 24-25 budgetary cycle, we'll get that money?
Yes, at least. That would be
We hope.
too long.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding this item? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion to approve agenda item 2C2?
So moved.
Leslie Kretz is first.
Second.
Jeanette Santos is second. Any questions regarding this agenda item?
Yeah, I think it's a point of interest of how much this costs, and also we skipped public comments.
I know, I'm
at the
gonna
beginning.
come back to that. I'm
Okay.
gonna come back, I'm definitely coming back. So Dr. Talbot, the cost for the independent investigation?
The independent investigation was conducted by the Board of Education. And Ms. Buatsi, I believe the cost was close to 15,000?
Yes,
Yes.
14 something.
Any other questions regarding this item? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One abstention.
Motion carries 5-1 and one abstention, one Leon. Okay. All right. So I didn't forget about community input regarding board agenda items. I'm going to do that next. What I want to just kind of speak about is 2C3 is not an item that we're going to vote on right now. It's in regards to consideration for candidates for board vacancy. That way I can give you the background. So, but before I do that, I think it is important, Ms. Hutchinson, just to kind of give, if I can give a little summary about why we did the resolutions for 2C4, 2C5, and 2C6. So as I give a summary or that on that, if I am off in any way, if you can just kind of correct me on it. Right. So, so what happened with the three resolutions that we brought forward? They came forward because on Monday, this Monday, the 24th. Yeah, 24th, this Monday, there was an email that was sent by Ms. Canestro to our district clerk and to, I believe, Dr. Talbot in regards to signing the oath book, right? At that time, maybe about, I contacted the district clerk, long story short, she said she needed to locate the oath book. And once she located the oath book, that she would contact Ms. Canestro to come in to sign the book. Right? So Ms. Melissa Dernan then contacted me to state to me that she found the oath book, but during that time frame, she recognized that she had never signed the oath book and she had never gotten sworn in. Right? At that point in time, I immediately contacted council, and I then contacted sent an email to the entire Board of Education. Legal reviewed this extensively in terms of what to do, how to handle it for this particular situation. And in doing so, they also recognized that Ms. Canestro had not signed the oath book. She had gotten sworn in, but not signed the oath book. So by law, if someone does not sign that oath book within 30 days, then that becomes a vacant seat. So for Ms. Canestro, it became a vacant seat. So for the district clerk, that seat was no longer, was vacant as well. So that's a summary of what occurred. So what we did tonight, we had the resolution for 2C4, which was to reappoint Ms. Canestro to her seat, get sworn in, and then sign the oath book. 2C6 is for the district clerk, right, to reappoint her to the seat for the remaining of this year, which would be 23, 24, and to the reorganization meeting on July 11th, which then that becomes another discussion about her seat. 2C5, we're not taking an action on it until we have our discussion in just a moment in regards to the vacant seat for Dave Heller's seat. So that was 2C4, 2C5, and 2C6. Right? So I just want to give a summary of what we did with the process for the vacant board seat. So for the vacant board seat, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we requested and we posted on the website that anyone who had an interest in the vacant board seat of Dave Heller, which is only for 1 year, and to June 30th, 2025, to submit a letter of interest along with a CV to the district clerk. Right? All of those who had an interest, those candidates were received by the district clerk. And then on June 17th was when we met as a board to review those individuals. So the candidates that we received, and I'll read the names. If I don't see the names correctly, please forgive me. Misha Ankaduk, if I'm saying the name correctly, Juan Leon, Debbie McQuillan, Christopher Nairn, Kasha Ross, Jody Runfola, Angelique Shannon, Jacqueline Stevenson, and Wayne Thompson were the candidates that we received in order to review. Right? Also, during that time frame, there were letters of support that came in for 3 people, which was for Juan Leon, Angelique Shannon, and Christopher Nairn. The Board of Education made a decision not to review any of those letters. We felt that no other candidates had an opportunity to submit a letter of support, so we did not review any of those letters, right? So it was not a requirement and we did not review them. From that meeting, the Board of Education made a decision to interview the following individuals: Debbie McQuillan, Christopher Nairn, Kesha Ross, Angelique Shannon, Jacqueline Stevenson, and Wayne Thompson. So on Monday, the 24th, right, at 6:30, we interviewed the following individuals. Wayne Thompson was first, Angelique Shannon was second, Kesha Ross was third, Christopher Nairn was fourth, Debbie McQuillan was fifth, Jacqueline Stevenson was sixth, and then Heather, I'm sorry, I forgot Heather Catrone. I'm sorry, Heather Catrone was another individual of one of the candidates. I'm sorry, Heather Catrone was another individual submitted, and we also interviewed Heather Catrone as well. So that was the process. During that time frame, the Board of Education in executive session reviewed the letters, reviewed any CV that was submitted, There was a discussion that did occur in executive session in regards to the employment history or then background in regards to the seat for the vacant board seat. There was a discussion that did occur, and there was somewhat of a consensus, but we knew that we had to come to an open meeting in order to continue that summary of discussion in public, as well as do the vote as well. So there was an error on my part. And I sent it out to the individuals. On my part, I had requested the district clerk to send a letter to individuals who we thought were not going to be appointed, right? When I realized I made my error, I sent an email out to every single individual and I said, I made an error and this is what happened. So those individuals did receive an email that I made an error, that because the board had made no vote in public, the board had not done any discussion in public for the public to hear and to vote on that vacant seat. So I had sent the email out letting the other members know who had gotten voted on, who got interviewed, that this is what happened. So was sort of the summary of what occurred from that night into the next day as well. So we're here now and we're gonna do a discussion on the candidates in just a moment. But I wanted to give a summary of what happened on 2C4, 2C5, 2C6, and the process that we did before we did the community input regarding board agenda items only. So at this time, I will take community input regarding board agenda items only.
Margaret Jeff, Amityville.
Hold on a second. Could you please start the timer? Thank you.
Okay, so on the,
Oh, I'm sorry,
I-
and Juan was not a part of the, a part of the interviews.
okay,
Go ahead.
okay. So what I just witnessed here is kind of a little mind-boggling, to say the least, because what screams volumes is I've heard, process was not followed in any shape or form. You're backpedaling big time. You're someone who was sworn in and who I witnessed the day of the election is sworn in again. I'd like to really get to the bottom of that and how that happened, because obviously no process is being followed. And I don't understand how there's not one person who can check and balance to see what goes on here. That I'm just absolutely mind boggled. And secondly, the biggest concern that I have is that in any corporate setting, whether it be banking, whether it be finance, whether it be retail, whether it be supermarkets, no matter what entity, if someone gets fired from their job, and here we are sitting and asking the people who got fired to recommend the person who's going to replace them. That doesn't happen in any industry. You don't ask the person who got fired to put their input in to recommend on how to do the job. So I find this process ludicrous and scary, that the new people that the people were voted in to have their voices heard by a majority. So those people are being X'd out of the conversation. The people who failed and who technically have been fired are the ones putting their input in for the new role. It makes absolutely zero sense. And not one industry would go to the person who's fired and say, who should we hire? Like, tell us what you think, because that's the most asinine scenario any corporate entity could ever imagine. It doesn't happen. I don't understand why it happens here. The people voted for a reason. And here you are slapping us in the face, blatantly, disgustingly, immorally, every which way to Sunday. But yes, you go bang that gavel. You do what you want to do. But mind, I say it once, I've said it again. How you sleep at night is beyond me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other community input? Ms. Bossy, we have to adjust the time because it should be down to like 13. She only did 2 minutes, like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, whatever it may be.
Good, go, okay. Good evening. The things that were just added, I have a couple of questions, very important. Ms. Canestro was just reappointed.
Yes.
So the district clerk who overlapped the new district clerk didn't make sure that the book was signed. And there's no implications of her performing her duty without having taken the oath? And does this now give Ms. Canestro only to the night of the next meeting
I'm sorry, go ahead.
because a vacancy is filled until the next election, not until June 30th of the school year?
So you can go ahead and answer.
You gotta stop.
I don't know how to turn this on. I'm sorry.
You want the mic?
So to start with your second question, yes, that is correct. Ms. Canestro holds her seat until the next election, where if she happens to run for that seat, if she has the highest number of votes, she would continue on in that seat through the end of that term. Or the next highest vote getter would get that seat till the end of that term. So that is correct.
So she's in into June 30th,
She's
2025.
in until May 20th, 2025.
Right.
However, if she happens to run for the seat and gets the highest number of votes, she would continue in that seat.
Right.
Or the person with the highest number of votes would continue in that seat. So it depends on what happens in the next election. So that is correct. What was your other question with
District
regard
clerk?
to the district clerk?
Not having taken the oath this,
Oh, you wanted to know what the impact is with the work that she did. So the case law says that to the extent she was recognized as the district clerk or Ms. Canestro was recognized, it was only 3 days for Ms. Canestro, so it's not, it really doesn't have an impact on anything she did. But with regard to the district clerk and the work she did, as long as she was openly, outwardly operating as a district clerk and the board accepted her as such, the work she did still counts. It's really a technicality, but the law says if you haven't signed the book, the seat is deemed vacant. So we're just trying to fix that technicality.
okay, so I have so many important things to say tonight, but this one, I'm going to say right now, Ms. Canestro was voted in by the community.
Correct.
She received the third highest amount of votes.
Right.
You guys just took a month away from her. You took,
No, we didn't.
yes, if she goes,
Yeah. Yeah.
wait,
She's automatic. We put, we put it back in again. She's in.
until the next election.
Which is that's what she ran for the last time.
All right, correct me if I'm wrong,
Go ahead.
please. She won the seat. She wasn't,
Right.
before you appointed her tonight, she won the seat.
Correct.
Until when? June 30th, correct?
No,
Oh, it's definitely May?
yes.
That's what I was asking.
The
I
reason for that,
apologize to everybody.
Jeanette,
Okay, I apologize.
that's okay.
That's why I was confused, because I'm thinking she won it, so she goes to the 30th of June, since she won it by election.
Oh, no.
Okay, thank you. So with the board vacancy for trustee Heller's seat, it didn't really transpire exactly the way you said. What you said to me in my interview, verbatim, when I asked you if you're meeting on Tuesday morning, this is the third meeting this week that was scheduled. You had one for Tuesday morning at 10.
So I'm just gonna pause 1 second. That, we did not schedule that meeting for Tuesday morning. That was the error on Syntax, who incorrectly posted a meeting. So we never had a meeting scheduled for Tuesday at all.
Didn't, but I asked, is that when you're making your decision? And you said, 1, 2, 3. No, we're making it tonight. We're making our decision tonight. I'm a prior school board member. Hello, bells go off. Then you said, and because, you told me what the process would be. Tomorrow, everybody will be receiving a letter, one way or the other, letting them know the outcome. We received it. And then later on that night, somebody posted something on social media and we get a letter of rescinding the letter. It happened exactly how you said it would happen. Exactly the way you said it would happen. So that was pre-thought of, pre-planned, and now you're backtracking. And because of that, I'll have no other choice but file an Article 78
Okay.
and have it annulled because It's got to stop. You guys have to understand that it has to stop.
So as I stated before I started, I made the mistake by asking the district clerk to send out that letter. I made that mistake, and that's why I sent another email. I did not respond. I don't do social media, so I did not respond to social media. That's number one. So I time-stamped the emails that were going to go out. They went out at 8:02 or 8:03, depending on what the timestamp that I put on there. So everyone received it at the same time. That's number one. And you are correct. I said, yes, this is what we're going to do. And yes, this is what the email's going to go out. I was notified that obviously I was wrong, that you can't do that. That's why we're sitting here tonight. We're going to have a discussion tonight. We're going to have a vote tonight. If there's a consensus, we'll have a vote tonight, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, well, I'm just expressing
No,
how I
that's
feel
not a problem.
about it.
Any other comments on community input? All right, seeing none, I'm going to go straight to just finish the discussion on the candidates. If you want your stuff, that's fine. As a reminder, we're just going to do a summary. I have to open it back up again. So if anyone wants to start, and as stated before, Mr. Leon was not part of the process. If anyone wants to say anything, they can say something as a board, as I'm trying to open this up.
Madam President, if it's all right. Because I was not part of the process and legal has advised me that I should abstain from voting, that's what I will be doing.
Anyone else want to say anything about any of the candidates as I'm opening up?
Sure, I'll say something. I've raised objections to this, vacancy appointment before June 30th, as the community voted overwhelmingly for change. And 5:30 on a Friday, the Friday before the new trustees take seat on Monday, feels very forced and political backdooring at its worst. I don't think it's good for the community that already doesn't have a lot of trust in us. I think it doesn't look good. As you saw, I just took an oath of office, which I take very seriously. And I think as a board as a whole, I wanted to join this board because I wanted to help push us forward in the best direction possible. That's me. Yeah, all the red. But I think in the rush to do this, I think the process has been flawed. We started this discussion, how to fill a board vacancy that wasn't even done at a regular meeting. It wasn't even on the agenda. It was at a special meeting where we had an unofficial vote to move forward. And I did agree with the letters of support not being considered because it wasn't a requirement of the board, which the whole board agreed upon, right? Because anybody could have done that. I think that was the right and fair thing to do. We had letters to review. We subsequently found that one fell through the cracks that we didn't get till the next day. So again, I think the process was flawed that way. The candidates receiving these emails, and I appreciate President Johnson, taking accountability for that. I think that was fair, but I think it was flawed again. But if we're to understand that 9 people received an email that they didn't get it, a reasonable conclusion would be the person that they did choose received notification of that too. So it brings me to my next point that I think, well, I just want to go one further. So I reached out to the New York State Open Committee on Government to ask for an advisory opinion, and they give advisory opinions. And they cited case law, so New York State Supreme Court decision. And their decision is that they feel interviews should be held in public and they should be up to the same public scrutiny, and people should know the qualifications. Council may disagree with this, but every lawyer has a different opinion, but this is the Supreme Court decision. Having said that, having heard somebody say they'll bring an Article 78, which is a legal challenge to a government decision, we're $1 million in the hole. I don't think that we're looking to have more legal fees. I think it puts us in a vulnerable position. I don't know if the community would agree taking on a legal challenge that we'd have to defend ourselves. And in the last couple of years, as I understand it, there is a law passed that if the person is successful with an Article 78, they then have to reimburse them their legal fees. So it would be our legal fees and then their legal fees. So I have to say, what are we doing here? Who are we representing here? I'm here to, represent children and the taxpayers, and I don't think it's in the best interest to make a decision on a Friday night at 5:30 if we're going to be challenged. I think that when we run for public office, we have a meet the candidate night and the public sees us and then votes. So when somebody applies for a Board of Education, I believe it should be done in public and the people could see, because you aren't privy to these interviews. You don't know what was said. And I think you have a right to know that. So if we're basing a decision, it's off of what we're saying, but you actually didn't see it. So I do feel that we're vulnerable right now. I will say that I think there were several standout candidates that were the strongest. I can comment on them, sure. But I think, I think this process is flawed, and I would hope that the board would agree with me that we can move forward to have public interviews. You guys could comment on that or not. And I'll leave it at that now and, comment.
Thank you. So I'm comfortable with how the process went. One of the things that I'm very comfortable with is that if there's any issue or concern, I always consult with legal. Legal is very forthcoming and honest in terms of searching through different case laws. So I'm comfortable with the process that took place. In regards to tonight's meeting, we have to meet, there's several items on this agenda that definitely do need to be addressed, but more importantly, staying with the focus of the vacant seat, in reviewing the individuals, interviewing the individuals that, for me, that we interviewed, I felt that a lot of them were, had the potential to be successful on that in particular vacant seat, in my opinion, based on my interviews, based on their letters of interest, based on their CV. I was quite comfortable. I narrowed it down. It took a little time to narrow it down to one individual who I felt would be the best fit to come onto the board. So that, I looked at everything, had my questions, listened to the responses. So I was comfortable with, once I narrowed it down to 2 people, that I felt that I was comfortable with one person that I would want to see move forward. So.
I'm also very comfortable with the process, especially considering this is the way every previous Amityville Board of Education has looked at this process and conducted appointments the same way. I looked at each candidate holistically, and I came up with what I truly believe is the best candidate for the Amityville Board of Education.
Anyone have any other comments regarding this? You can say whatever you want to say.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk again. Sure, there were several candidates. I guess I'm going to just discuss my findings. First, I want to say thank you to every single person that applied. I think it is outstanding that we have a community that wants to be involved and wants to volunteer to give back. So all of them should be commended. I think each of them had strengths. And I appreciated with meeting them and them taking the time out of their day to do so and to send the letters and to go through the process. So to every single one of you, I say thank you.
But we didn't consider the letters, just make sure.
Oh,
mean, are
and the letters, yeah, of
You know,
course, the
letters of
letters,
support we did not consider.
yeah, yes, the letters of interest we considered and the interviews, of course. So thank you to that. And yes, and okay, so to go to this, I will say that there was 3 that stood out to me. I feel given our current financial situation, I think having a strong budgetary background is really important in this instance. We are fiduciaries. It's one of our main responsibilities. It's a very high standard. I think having board experience is really important as well. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. So I just want to make sure I'm doing everything legal. So I'm just going to mention the three standouts. Again, this is not to slight anybody else. These are the three people that I thought could best move us forward. I think that Debbie McQuillan is a previous board member, had served for 9 years. She understands the board. There'd be no learning curve. And I think board experience goes a long way. I think that we've could really improve on complying with open meetings laws and the policies that we have. I felt that Jacqueline Stevenson was strong. She did have some board experience. She has 3 small children in the district, one that went through the district. She had gone through the district and she had a very positive experience. And I felt that she knows what works, what she could say has helped along the way. But my top choice would have been Wayne Thompson. He is somebody whose children did go to the district and has, I think, nieces and nephews that go here, and has also experienced private school and utilized our services, so sees both ends. Because remember, as Board of Education, we're proponents of public education, but we represent everyone in this district. He had a background that was similar to the Amityville School District. He, he was trying to find his way, like many students in Amityville. He had a teacher that really believed in him, lifted him up, and applied to college for him. He had gone to an Ivy League college, and he, on his own, has set up a scholarship to give back to students in that teacher's name. I think that's pretty incredible. His background is entrepreneurial, but he gives back in an educational setting. He's also created some opportunities for children and some, I don't know what you call them. Wait, let me just look at my notes 1 second, quick. Forgot what they were called. I took a lot of notes during this. I'm sorry, 1 second. I can't remember what it was called. He said, I don't know, he set up programs for children, and he's given back to kids, including kids in Amityville. And I thought that was really special. And he has experience living in East Massapequa and in South Massapequa. So he has a
No,
really
South
unique,
Amityville.
South Amityville. Oh, sorry. I meant East Massapequa and South Amityville. Right. So being that he has this strong budgetary experience, he runs multi-million-dollar companies. He sits on boards. I think it is the best decision of this school board that while everybody can give something back and everybody has positive, and again, it's not to slight anybody, to move this Board of Education and this district forward, Wayne Thompson had by far the most outstanding background to help us achieve that.
So thank you. So I will say that, yeah, go ahead.
Wendy, I think you have, well, I know you have a relationship with each one of those candidates.
I have relationships with each one of
Well,
these
you
candidates.
know them
That's-
well enough.
This is an odd thing to say.
So
I live in the community and I talk to people at meetings and I try to forge relationships and build relationships. And certainly as a Board of Education trustee, I certainly try to do that. If I have relationships with anybody or I'm forming relationships, anybody, kudos to me.
All right, so just to kind of cover up, I will just kind of say that my 2 tops were Wayne Thompson as well as Christopher Nearing. And so some of the things that Wendy just mentioned were some things that I also looked at in terms of Wayne Thompson. My biggest concern for Wayne Thompson was his potential to be available, but I also felt that as we move forward, if the board establishes board committees, that one of the things that would be very good was to have Mr. Thompson and maybe even Ms. McQuillan to sit on a budget advisory committee where I feel that their background and their knowledge would be very, very important. So that's why I move towards Christopher Nearing versus Wayne Thompson. So, any other discussion on this item?
Sure. I would like to say that I think that Mr. Thompson is a busy person. I don't think that we question that. But when asked, Mr. Thompson did say that he would clear his calendar to make sure that he would attend board meetings. And I would ask my fellow colleagues to express why you feel the other candidates are stronger.
They don't, if they
If you
want
don't want to, you
yeah,
don't have
yeah,
to, but it's
listen.
transparency, isn't it?
So I think anyone else wanted to say anything? All right, all right, so we finished the consideration of candidates for board vacancy and potential board action, so I'm gonna continue on the agenda. Can I have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, can I have a motion for agenda item 2C5? So council, you just have to sort of,
I make a motion to appoint Wayne Thompson to the Board of Education tonight.
I make a motion to.
wait,
appoint- oh,
so,
sorry.
so with that motion that's up, then we get a second,
Okay.
and then we vote on it. Okay, okay. So Wayne Thompson. So Wendy Canestro is first. I just need a second, please. Someone just give me a second, please, because we have to vote on it.
Second.
Leslie Kretz is second. All those in favor of Wayne Thompson?
Aye.
All those, no?
No. No.
No.
And President Johnson, as I mentioned previously, I was not part of the process. My vote is an abstention.
Okay, Ms. Kretz, I didn't hear you. What, are you yes?
No.
Okay. So it's one yes, or no, and one abstain, right? So I'm going to, whereas effective April 19th, now therefore be resolved, the Board of Education hereby appoints any other, recommend any other suggestions for the seat?
I make a motion to appoint Jacqueline Stevenson.
Right, who is I need a second for that.
Second.
Carol Seoff, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone else? Any no?
No.
No. Leslie? No. And
And one abstention.
one abstain. Okay, all right. All right,
And I make a motion to appoint Chris Nearing.
I have Chris Nearing.
Second.
Hold on. Carol Seoff is first, Jeanette Santos is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that's 4. I'm just making notes. All those no?
No.
And Juan, you abstain.
You guessed that.
Okay. All right. So whereas effective April 19th, the seat of board member Dave Heller became vacant due to the resignation from the Board of Education. And whereas education law, section 1709, authorizes the Board of Education to fill such vacancy by appointment. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby appoints Christopher Nearing to the aforesaid vacant seat and authorizes the oath of office to be administered to said individual effective immediately, and said board member shall serve into the regular school district election on May 20th, 2025. Congratulations, Christopher. So, Christopher, you have to come up to get sworn in, and Nehring. Go ahead, Linda.
Sorry.
Right, and, you take a seat.
She's leaving.
Are you leaving for the day? Oh.
Leslie. Leslie, we just have one more, 2C6 to vote on.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Well, that's fine. Unless Chris wants to sit on this side, this is probably gonna be his more
Yeah,
pertinent
go
seat.
ahead. Right. Right.
Yeah, this is,
Right.
gonna-
Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C6, please?
So moved.
Jeanette Santos is first,
Second.
Carol Seal for second. This is the resolution vacancy appointment number 3, be resolved, the Board of Education hereby appoints Melissa Dernan to serve as district clerk for the balance of the 23-24 school year and authorizes the oath of office to be administered to said individual effective immediately. Right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I abstain since I wasn't a part of.
That's no
anything before
problem.
this.
All right, so that is 6 yes. And 1 abstain. All right, so motion's carried. I know Mrs. Kretz has to leave. I just have 2 more things. All right, can I have a motion for agenda item 2E1 and 2, please?
Yeah, motion.
That's Wendy Canestro, Jeanette Santos. Any questions regarding these 2 items?
No, but I think it's great that we were able to bring back 2 people.
Yes, because people were from, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are you abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay, 6 yes. And 1 abstain, all right. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3B1, please? It's the PAR, can I motion for 3B1?
So moved.
Leslie Kretz is first,
Second.
Wendy Canestro second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And you're abstaining, right, Chris?
Correct.
Okay. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3F1, please?
So moved.
Second.
Leslie Kretz, Wendy Canestro, any questions?
Is there a cost associated with this, Dr. Talbot?
There is no cost to the district for the overnight trip.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And
Abstain.
abstain. 6 yes and 1 abstain. All right. There you go. All right. All right. Yeah, at this point in time, I'm going to have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:37.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait, is there supposed to be a second public portion? Sorry. Is there supposed to be community input at the end?
I'm going to pull it back only for the simple reason that it's a special meeting and I gave at the beginning of the meeting.
Wait a second, hold on. So I have an objection to that because it's listed on the
All
agenda.
right, so
Do-
go
do we
go
not
ahead.
have to
Anyone,
do that?
we'll do a quick, just go ahead. You have to come to the mic right quick, please.
They're here. When I was questioning the time that Wendy serves until, and you clearly said it was until the next election.
Right now, it's till the next one. I understand your question now. What you were saying was her original, before this occurred, she was appointed till June 30th, 2025.
So when I said that you removed a month from her, I was correct.
Right, I didn't know what you were talking about, but
Yeah.
I understand now, yes.
It's a big
Not
difference.
removed, but she's not entitled.
So the community wanted her to June 30th and you guys made it shorter.
No, not you guys.
Not you.
It's really operation of law. That's why I said it's a technicality, but it is the operation of law that if it's not signed within that.
The
30
board is
days
you
period-
guys. I don't mean you.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, we gave the opinion to the board and they're just following that opinion based on the operation of law. So yes, if this had not occurred, she would have served till June 30th, but because this occurred, she serves through May 20th. So there's a 5-week shortage of the full term that she would have served. However, to the extent she prevails in the
That's
election,
Not the point.
I know, but
That's
I
a
mean,
big deal.
it's
It's a
the
big deal.
process, though. I can't, I'm just telling you what the law states. I don't, whether I don't have an opinion about big deal, not big deal, but I'm just saying the
Okay.
law is what it is.
Okay, well, I asked the question, I got the wrong answer. Now, I would like,
No.
I gave the right answer. I didn't understand what you were asking.
okay. The other question I've been asking, and I haven't gotten an answer, was, and I believe we handed it off to you at a meeting, was the big night when everybody was here and we lost so many teachers. Do you remember that night?
I remember several nights like that.
Okay, no, it was the first one in February.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it.
Wasn't it
I
like
I
Valentine's
attended
Day?
several meetings.
So
but
what-
you're
what is
allowed
your
to-
question,
but
Mrs.
What's the
McCall?
question?
Oh, I handed you the blank resolution and I asked you how that could, how that's legal, how that stands up in court. And I'm only asking because you're here.
No, I know, but I don't recall that in particular. What was the blank resolution about? If you refresh my recollection.
Accessing 40-something plus teachers. There was no names listed, no tenured areas listed, nothing.
I think I talked to Ms. Waite about it and she had the information on a separate sheet. But I do agree that once I think the process that Amityville follows is that once it's approved, it becomes publicized in the minutes. So.
The
that's
minutes
process.
don't have what you think they have. The minutes, like,
Well, they should. So
Well,
in other words,
okay,
I
but-
do agree that to the extent the public needs to have knowledge, that's the way to do it.
Okay.
I know that there's concerns about privacy that have been expressed by teachers and district staff, which is why they start the process by not publicizing it because for some
but the
reason
law
it may
covers the
not.
tenured areas,
Yes.
et cetera.
For
But
some
to
reason
your,
it may not pass, so, but as part of the minutes,
right,
it should be public.
to your point, though, the resolution, a walk-on resolution that is read, not given to the public because it's not in here because it's a walk-on, and then you go to look at the minutes and it only has the head title, this is for the forensic audit. There is no record of that resolution on the website or in the minutes. It's like it didn't exist. You have to transcribe it yourself.
So I'm not sure if that's a requirement under the law.
To have the
But tech-
resolution,
No, the requirement is to have the minutes. And for a walk-on resolution, there's no time for that publication. So so what the Committee on Open Meetings Law says is to have available to the public resolutions and documentation supporting that resolution
Mhm.
to be provided to the public.
okay.
In this instance where it's not available or readily available, I would imagine that to the extent it can be made available as soon as possible, that would be appropriate. So I believe the board is going to be working on that process. I believe there was slight discussion about that, about moving forward, how to make that information more publicized post meetings. So we
So
do
blank
understand where you're saying-
resolutions are not going to be encouraged. Because we were told that the attorneys recommended it.
Okay, I hear you. And I think that's why. I think there was a concern about the privacy of the teachers prior to the vote taking place.
I'm sorry, Madam President, I'm gonna have to excuse myself. I have to go pick up my son from a medical appointment.
Okay,
All right.
I'm
so-
losing people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll stick around another 5 minutes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Jacqueline Stevenson. First, I just want to say congratulations to Mr. Chris for getting the position. And I have a question regarding the process. I'm just curious to know because I was under the impression that this whole process was happening now prior to July 1st because you wanted Ms. Santos and Mr. Lalonde to be a part of it. And he was not in on my interview, so I'm just wondering, I'm just a little confused. He wasn't a part of the process. So why is that?
Or it's that's one reason why he didn't vote. So he was not allowed for the first part of the process because he was original candidate. The second part of the process, he did not come in. I believe he was aware, or he may not have been aware that he was able to come in. He was not aware that he was able to come in. So that's what happened.
He was not aware that he was able to come into the interviews?
Yes, correct. Because he thought that being that he was not involved in the first half, that he was not allowed to be involved in the second half.
Well,
So-
to be clear, I wasn't notified otherwise.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're right, right.
Okay.
So he wasn't invited to come into the interviews is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was,
Is what
yes.
he's saying?
I mean,
Okay.
I'm more than willing to have a cup of coffee with you.
Yeah.
You were never offered, okay. I just didn't understand because, like I said, I had an interview and he was not there.
Right.
Which is why, like I said, I thought this was happening so that those two could be a part of it. So I just wanted clarification.
Well, just
No
to say,
problem.
that was never my understanding,
No.
so.
That's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 6?
So
Please make it quick because I'm losing board members. They have other things, other people have to go, so it's gonna
Well,
be
you made
very
the-
quick.
You made the meeting at
Well, I'm
5:30
just
on
saying,
a
to- once-
Friday,
once I
so we're
lose-
missing
once I
happy
lose the
hour. I'm
quorum,
sorry.
I don't do happy hour, excuse me,
Okay.
all right? That's rude. I don't do happy, I don't drink. Thank you.
So my question is that I had, under the advice of the attorney at the time of the last meeting, I had asked a question regarding the cost for the independent investigation it was 2C2. So I wrote an email to the district clerk and she it wasn't presented as a FOIL. She treated it as a FOIL. So now I'm waiting 30 days to find out what the 2C2 of the last board meeting independent investigation cost was. Is that the same investigative that was 15 grand on today's agenda?
No, that's
Okay.
different, that's different.
So now I'm waiting 30 days for a question that should be basically off the cuff, on your feet, stand up, know the answer. Nobody knows the process. I don't know. It's a big mess.
Was that the question that was answered today where it was?
No, no,
No.
no.
This-
This is
No,
regarding the
this
forensic
This
orders.
is another one. So he said, send an email. I sent the email. Did not get an answer. Did not get an acknowledgement in my 5-day window. And I also did a FOIL on May 30th and said my answer should be received in or part by June 28th. Today's June 28th. I got bupkis. So I just wanted to know what the deal is with my FOIL of May 30th. And also, my third question, are you gonna give me the answer on the independent investigation?
No, not at this time. Keep going.
Okay, so do I have to, I didn't treat it as a FOIL. I'll resend my email for a quick ask and answer, because that's what the lawyer said they would do.
Okay.
It was just in, whatever. And my third question is, does any of the board members or the superintendent carry a district corporate credit card?
No, mm-mm.
No,
No,
I don't think
Dr.
what-
Talbot, do you own a
No,
corporate
no.
credit card? Do you maintain travel and expenses monthly
No,
as a rule? So you never have any outlay or anything out of own pocket or do any T&Es
No.
at any given time?
No.
Thank you.
all right. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 6:47, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.